Hey folks, Eric Bray, Focus Fishing Guide Service. Got another video fishing report for you for Table Rock. It is Tuesday, August the 28th. Been on the water pretty much every day this past week. Pretty much every day, either here or over on Taneycomo. Fishing's been good on both places. As far as our lake level is concerned, we are at 913.7 as of this morning, so that's still right where we were last week, about 2.5 feet down, 2 1/3 foot down, somewhere in there. But still, the core hasn't moved a lot. We didn't get as much rain as they were predicting last week, so the lake really hasn't come up much. Core still on the same generation schedule, generating mostly in the afternoon and evening to meet power demands for how hot it's been. Of course, they're calling for a big cold front to come through tonight or tomorrow. A lot of storms the next couple of days, so that may change the lake level and a few other things. As far as our water temperature is concerned, we're right at about 80 degrees. 80, 81 is what I'm seeing all over the lake. And I've been up the James, I've been up the Whiteaways, down here by the dam, and in the mid-lake area, and it's all about the same. Even in the Kings. I was in the Kings, I guess it was Saturday, and it was still right around 80 degrees, 81, 82 in the Kings, even in the afternoon. So temperature really isn't going anywhere. Even with this stretch of warm weather, it's brought it back up to 81, 82 in the afternoon, but it is cooling back off into the right around 80 degrees every day. But the fish are biting. But if you guys are coming down, say you're going to fish the lower end of the lake, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I mean, I've been saying the same baits are working for the last, feels like 4 months, but it's really only, I guess it's been the last 2 months. Same bites are working. We're still catching a few on the topwater. It's not a great bite. If you don't have wind or cloud cover, you're lucky to catch 1 or 2 on it, but you will see fish busting, and you can catch a few on it. So make sure you've got a spook, a whopper plopper, Yozuri popper, whatever your favorite topwater bait is, tied on and ready to throw first thing in the morning, because there are fish coming up busting shad. Get in the right place, right time, and you can catch quite a few on a topwater. Down here in the dam area, the drop shot bite's probably the #1 bite by far. Still catching them on a shad shape, cut tail, chompers drop shot worm, UV drop shot worm. All those baits are working. Most of the fish have been on gravel runouts though, not really catching them back in the trees like we were a month ago. Most of them have been on those long gravel runouts, anywhere from about 23 to about 38 feet deep. So you got to kind of move around a little bit and find them. But when you find them, you'll find smaller schools and smaller patches of them, and you can catch quite a few in a hurry. But they're right on the bottom. Drop your drop shot down if you see something, work it pretty quick, and you can usually pick one up, and then more of them will bite for a 3 or 4 minute flurry, and then you got to kind of move a little bit more. But we are catching them on a drop shot, catching a few on a spoon as well. The Jewel Scuba Spoon's working really well out on those gravel runouts. Same deal, 23 to 38 feet deep, catching them on a scuba spoon, catching them on the Dixie Jet. But we're casting that just like we have been. It seems like I can catch those fish that are busting a little bit better on a Dixie Jet right now than I can a topwater. So I have a Dixie Jet. I've been throwing the 3/4 ounce white. That's been my best bait. I'm throwing it on 12-pound fluoro, and just when I see them bust, I'll throw it past them and burn it through it and kill it. And I've been catching fish on that. And then a football jig. The football jig bite isn't as good down here as it is on the rest of the lake, but we are catching fish on a football jig down here as well. The Jewel either 3/8, ½ ounce, or 5/8 ounce football jig matched up with either a J-tail or a beaver on those gravel points, on those gravel runouts. Most of those fish are about 18 to 25 feet deep. A lot of them are smallmouth. We're starting to see smallmouth come back up shallow. The last few days hasn't been as good as it was last week when it was cooler, but we are starting to see those smallmouth show back up, so it won't be long to where we start catching a lot of smallmouth on a football jig. But Okeechobee blue, green pumpkin candy, typical colors, peanut butter and jelly, all working. Green pumpkin on your trailer, and again, I've been using the J-tail or using a beaver as a trailer. Have been my top 2 trailers down here. Go up into the Kimberling City area, the same bites are working up there, catching a lot of fish on a drop shot rig all over the lake down there. And again, most of them are on those long gravel runouts, anywhere from about 23 to about 35, 38 feet deep. Really, most of them are less than 35 feet deep, either on gravel points or gravel humps. Shad shape worm, cut tail worm, UV drop shot worm, and chompers drop shot worm, all working really well down there. Just basically finding them on gravel. They seem to be a little bit better groupings of them in the Kimberling City area than they are down here at the dam, so you can tend to catch a few more. Topwater bite is again hit and miss up there, but we are catching a few on a spook and a Sammy, a few on a popper, and a few on a whopper plopper. And then we are catching them on a football jig up there too. A lot of fish coming on a football jig. The football jig bite gets better in Kimberling City, and it's best either up the James or up the White, but it does get a lot better in the Kimberling City area. Again, fishing those long gravel runouts, if they've got a little bit of rock or a little bit of brush on them, it seems to hold better fish, anywhere from about 18 to about 25 foot deep. Most of those fish are, I mean, they're holding real tight to the bottom, so you don't want to work it too fast or too hard. Just kind of work it over the brush, work it over the rocks. Pay attention to when it falls, because it seems like a lot of the bites I've gotten in the last week, they're picking it up and swimming at me. 1/2 ounce, 5/8 ounce have been my two best weights on the Jewel football jig up there. Okeechobee Blue, Green Pumpkin Candy, and of course peanut butter and jelly. All of them with a green pumpkin, either J-tail or beaver. Both of those are working. And then the spoon bite's been pretty good up there as well, but actually doing a little bit better with the spoon by pitching it into docks. It seems like that dock bite is starting to kick off in the Kimberling City area, where we pitch it back into the slips, kind of hit the stalls. I've been throwing both the Dixie Jet spoon, throwing the scuba spoon, both those in the docks, and I have been messing with James Watson's Worldwide spoon and caught a few fish on it. That spoon, that Worldwide spoon, is actually pretty cool, because when you throw it back in there, it will shoot back underneath the docks the way it's weighted. So have a spoon tied on, pitch it into those deeper docks. I'm doing better with docks that are at least over 30 feet. Seems like the ones that are over about 50 or 55 are best, but a lot of fish coming out of those docks. So make sure you have a spoon on and pitch it back into the docks. Go up into the James, and the bite up the James has been actually really good. I was up the James twice last week. From the mouth of the James to, let's say, point 12, there's a really strong drop shot bite. Catching a lot of fish on a drop shot rig, shad shape, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, Chomper's drop shot worm, anywhere from about 22 to about 30, 32 feet deep, basically working the bottom over. It seems like the fish are schooled up much better up the James than they are anywhere else on the lake. Find a lot of schools of fish up the James, and you can really pick numbers off up the James. So yeah, if you're looking for numbers, I would definitely head to the James River. There's a lot of fish on gravel points and gravel runouts up there. Did well with the scuba spoon up there as well, dropping it down and popping it off the bottom. Caught a lot of fish doing that. Same depth. That 22 to about 32 foot deep seems to be the magic depth, and I kind of like throwing that spoon up there a little bit better than I do the drop shot, just because I can work it a lot faster and I can get fish in the boat faster. And we did really well with the scuba spoon up there last week. Haven't really thrown a topwater up there. Didn't really throw a topwater up that much. Didn't see as many fish busting up there. Might have been the days I was up there. Don't really know, but there wasn't that great of a topwater bite when I was up there, so don't really have a report on topwater up there. I can tell you the football jig bite is strong from the mouth of the James all the way up to Cape Fair and above. Caught a lot of fish on a Jewel 1/2 ounce and 5/8 ounce football jigs. Okeechobee Blue, Green Pumpkin Candy, peanut butter and jelly, and even brown purple flash up there, matched up with either a green pumpkin J-tail or green pumpkin beaver. And those fish, depending on where you are in the lake and the water color, they can be as shallow as 15 foot deep. Caught several fish up above point 12, almost to Cape Fair, on those gravel runouts that were probably 14 to 16 foot deep. Not really a lot of quality. It seemed like the quality was out a little bit deeper, maybe 18 to 20, but we caught a lot of fish up there shallower. Seems like the further up the James you get, with a little bit more color in the water, you can catch those fish shallower. Are still catching them on the big worm, but it really feels like that bite is going away. I took a guy up there last week, and specifically he wanted to throw a big worm into brush piles, and you know, we caught them, but we didn't catch them like we have been. Didn't catch a lot of really good fish, but we caught fish, just didn't catch the better fish. You know, you throw that big worm, you expect to catch 3s, 4s, and 5s, and we had several keepers, but you know, just 15 1/4 inch fish. And it feels like that bite may be going away with the weather change. I don't know, if it stays warm through August, they may still eat it, but we really didn't catch them that well on it last week. Go up into the White River, and man, we were catching them up the White. The White was fun. Drop shot rig, definitely have a drop shot rig tied up. Shad shape, cut tail, UV drop shot worm, Chomper's drop shot worm. All those baits are working up there on those gravel runouts, and on gravel humps up there. We pulled up on a couple of humps up around Big Creek. Oh, that topped out. Normally they'd be about 35 feet deep, with the water being down a little bit. They're about 32 feet deep, and they were just loaded. The fish were on top, the fish were on the downstream side of them. So there are definitely fish you can catch on a drop shot up there. Most of them gravel runouts 23 to 35 feet deep seems to be the depth. They are grouped up a lot better up the White than they are, say, up down here in the dam area or even at Kimberling. They're definitely grouped up better, and you can definitely put more fish in the boat up the White on a drop shot. Scuba spoons, same deal, same locations. We're catching them up there 23 to 35 feet deep, basically dropping that scuba spoon down on the bottom, hopping it real hard and catching several fish on a scuba spoon up there, catching them on a flutter spoon too, on either the Dixie Jet, or throwing that worldwide spoon around docks up there and caught a few nice fish doing that too. You got to hit those bigger docks over deeper water with that worldwide spoon though. I mean, again, I would say I don't really fish it if the dock's less than 30 feet deep. Most of them, the better bites seem to be where the dock was over 50 and the spoon never got to the bottom. It probably got down to about 20, maybe 25 feet deep, and it just stopped dead. And if you're fishing that, pay attention. You free spool it, but make sure you're watching your line, because it'll actually jump or it'll just stop dead if one of them grabs it. Seems like the better ones will just grab it and hold it, so you really won't get it. It won't see a bite, but you'll stop falling. And you know, if you're 50 foot deep and it only goes down for about 8 to 9 seconds, pretty good chance a fish has got it. But we are catching them on that worldwide spoon up there around the docks as well. And then the football jig bite. I mean, the Jewel half ounce and 5/8 ounce football jigs have just been fantastic up there, catching a lot of fish, anywhere from about 18 to about 25 feet deep on the football jig on those gravel runouts, especially those points and runouts that have a drop on one side, or those points that have rock piles or brush piles on them. It seems like the rock piles and brush piles are holding the better fish, whether it's got a drop off on it or not. But if you've got some points, some gravel points that have a rock pile or a brush pile that is about 18 or 20, even 25 foot deep, definitely worth throwing a football jig into it. Both the half ounce, both the 5/8 ounce, Okeechobee Blue, green pumpkin candy, watermelon candy was working for us up there as well. Matched up with either a J-tail or a beaver. Both of those trailers are working really well. Green pumpkin's been my best color in trailer, but caught a lot of fish on a football jig, and that bite's just going to get better. I mean, as the water cools, we'll get more fish pulling up shallow and more fish holding a little bit tighter to the bottom as they pull up shallow, and we'll start catching quite a few on a football jig here over the next month or so. Guys, we are at the end of August. What do we got, 5-6 days till Labor Day, and then the fishermen get the lake back after that, with the possible exception of the weekends. But it's already, the boat traffic's a lot slower during the week. It's amazing how many fewer boats are out during the week versus even last week, or the week before was crazy. But this week, I mean, I don't know, we saw 8 or 10 other boats, and most of them were other guides and other fishermen. So not really seeing the pleasure craft out there. So we're getting the lake back and get past this next weekend, and the fishermen will have the lake back, and we'll be able to get out and fish and not have to worry about getting run over by jet skis and 40-foot cruisers and everything else. But fishing's been great, and it's only going to get better. Guys, if you want to learn how to throw a football jig, now is the time. You need to come down. You need to learn how to throw a football jig. You want to learn how to drop shot, now's the time. Come down, we'll teach you how to drop shot. But guys, if you're thinking about coming down, want to hire a guide, give me a call. It's Focus Fishing Guide Service. You can reach me at 417-860-4743. Hit my website, focusfishing.com. Shoot me an email, book online. Either way, get a hold of me. We'll pick out dates and times. We'll go out, we'll fish, we'll have a good time. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Guys, take a second to subscribe if you haven't, but thanks for watching. Can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the water.